Alright, picture this. You're inside Costco, and suddenly everything falls apart. People run, someone screams near the entrance, carts crash, and in seconds the whole store turns into chaos. Here's what I'd do if I were trapped in there. We'll go through the first hour, the first night, the next few days, and the hard moment when staying might be worse than leaving. And yeah, we'll hit the mistakes too, because Costco can save your life, or it can trap you fast if you play it wrong. And here's the problem, noise makes everything worse. Noise pulls zombies, noise pulls desperate people, noise also makes you do stupid stuff because your brain thinks you're already losing. So my first move is not grab food, it's not find a weapon, it's not run for the roof. My first move is creating space between me and the front entrance chaos, because the front is the trap. That's where the doors are, that's where the crowd squeezes, that's where the glass is, that's where you'll see the first real surge of zombies if they come in, and that's also where you'll see the first humans turn into animals, because nobody wants to be last. I'm moving away from the front, but I'm not sprinting, I'm walking fast, controlled, head up. I'm looking down the long main aisles and I'm avoiding them. Those aisles look safe because you can see far, but they're actually bad because anything can see you too. You don't want to be a silhouette at the end of a bright aisle with nowhere to break line of sight. I want the back third of the building, but not a dead end. I'm hunting for a staging spot. That means a place where I can stop for 30 seconds, catch my breath, and watch what's happening without getting swallowed by the crowd. If you've never been in a real emergency, here's the truth. The first hour is a decision test. Every choice you make either reduces pressure or adds pressure. People who survive are the ones who keep taking pressure off the situation. My staging spot needs 3 things. A solid wall at my back, a clear view of one approach lane, and at least 2 ways out. 2 exits is everything. 1 exit turns into a coffin when something shifts. And while I'm moving, I'm doing one more thing that's uncomfortable to admit. I'm watching people, not judging them, studying them. Who is calm? Who is yelling? Who is already trying to boss others around? Who is grabbing stuff and shoving it into a cart? The loud guy with big energy can get you killed. The quiet worker who looks annoyed and focused can save your life. Also, I'm listening for one specific thing, that sharp change in sound when a crowd turns into a fight. If I hear that, I'm putting distance between me and that area immediately. Humans fighting inside Costco is a louder beacon than anything else. Bad choice that ruins people in the first hour, running straight into the back rooms without knowing if someone already owns that space. You don't want to kick open a door and walk into a group of scared strangers holding tools. That's how you get hurt by accident or on purpose. So I stage first, I observe, I move again. What skills matter most here, and what matters even if you have no skills? This is where a lot of survival talk gets fake. People pretend anyone can walk into a warehouse store and become a builder warrior in 10 minutes. Real life doesn't work that way. In Costco, the most valuable skill is not fighting, it's knowing how the place works. If you've got warehouse experience, if you work retail, if you've ever operated a pallet jack without looking goofy, you're ahead by a mile. A forklift operator is a serious asset. A manager with keys and door codes is a serious asset. Maintenance staff who know where the electrical panels are, where the water shutoffs are, where the employee hallways connect. That person is a walking map. If you don't have any of that, you can still be useful. You just need to understand what useful means now. Useful is calm. Useful is quiet. Useful is someone who can do boring work without complaining. In a survival situation, boring work is what keeps you alive. And one thing I do early, if I'm around strangers, is watch for someone who clearly works there. Not in a weird way, just look for the person who's moving with purpose instead of panic. If you've got 5 people and everybody wants to be the hero, you're done. Somebody needs to watch. Somebody needs to run supplies. Somebody needs to clean. Somebody needs to handle injuries. Somebody needs to make decisions and take the blame when decisions suck. And yeah, decisions will suck. Costco's biggest advantage, it's a fortress of materials, not just food. Most people hear Costco and think endless food. That's the fantasy, and it's a dangerous fantasy because it makes you rush, it makes you loud, it makes you greedy. Here's what Costco really gives you: bulk systems, storage bins, tape, rope, clothing, gloves, headlamps, batteries, cleaning supplies, water containers, shelving that can be used to shape movement, stuff that lets you turn a random corner of the store into a controlled zone. Food matters, but food isn't what kills people on day one. People die because they can't control the environment or they can't control themselves. If I'm doing this right, I'm not shopping. I'm setting up 4 basic systems fast: security, water, sleep, and hygiene. If those 4 are stable, you can breathe. If those 4 are chaos, it won't matter how many protein bars you've got. Day 1 is not about owning the whole building. That's ego. That's how you overextend. Costco is huge, open, loud, and full of angles. You don't need the whole building. You need a core zone that you can defend quietly. So day 1, I'm picking a core zone. and I'm making it smaller than my pride wants. I want something I can control with the least work. If I can access offices or a break room area with real doors, I'm looking there. Hard doors beat open floor every time. If those are locked and I can't get in without making a scene, I'm building a zone using the shelves and pallets. Here's what I want the zone to feel like. Boring, narrow, not inviting. It should be annoying to approach and hard to rush. I'm also keeping lighting low. This is a big one. People light up a space because it makes them feel better. But a fully lit Costco at night is a billboard. Even if zombies don't care about light, people care about light. If someone sees a glowing warehouse, they'll come investigate because it screams someone is alive and has supplies. So, I'm using small light, headlamp on low, flashlight pointed at the floor. I'm taping over bright indicators if I have to. I'm not turning on anything that floods the building. Then I'm grabbing the first essentials. This is the part where I'll keep it short and real, because I don't want it to feel like a shopping list video. In the first day, I want water, basic medical, trash bags, hygiene, gloves, tape, and something I can sleep under. That's it. If I can get those without drama, I'm ahead. Then, I set rules. If I'm alone, rules are still rules. No wandering the store for fun. No loud work. No experimenting. If I'm with people, rules are mandatory. And I don't mean be nice. I mean clear rules that prevent fights and accidents. One person speaks to strangers. Nobody leaves the core zone alone. Nobody goes exploring during the first night. No yelling across aisles. If someone can't follow basic quiet rules, that person is a liability, and that's a harsh truth you need to accept early. Now, security. This is where Costco can help you if you're smart. You can use stacked goods and shelving to force a narrow approach lane, not a giant wall that takes hours. A lane, a funnel, something that slows movement. You also add noise alarms that don't require batteries. Loose plastic wrap that crunches, empty bottles inside a bag, anything that makes a sound when stepped on. It's not fancy, it works. And here's a decision point people screw up. They try to hide so hard that they lose awareness. You do want to avoid attention, but you also need to see what's happening. You need information. Information is survival currency. So I'm creating a watch position, a spot where I can sit quietly and see the approach without being seen easily. If I'm with a group, someone is always awake, even if it's miserable, especially the first night. The first night, sleep is a security problem, not comfort. Night one in a big store is mental warfare. Your brain starts playing games. Every little sound feels huge. You start imagining worst case stuff. People start whispering. Somebody starts crying. Somebody starts getting angry. If you treat sleep like we'll just pass out, you'll get surprised. And surprise is how people die. So I'm doing 3 things before anyone sleeps. Set a bathroom plan, set a watch plan, and set a nobody moves alone plan. Bathroom plan matters fast. If you don't handle waste, you will poison your own space. It gets disgusting, and it also creates smell, bugs, sickness, and conflict. So you pick a waste corner away from sleeping, use bags, use disinfectant, and keep it simple. Watch plan is basic, short shifts. The watcher stays still, no pacing, no wandering. Watcher sits in the dark and listens more than he looks. If the watcher hears movement in the approach lane, the watcher wakes the others quietly, not screaming, not shouting names, quiet taps, quiet signals. And then I keep the core zone quiet. No cooking, no loud unpacking, no dragging pallets. That can wait. The first night is about not making your location obvious. If zombies are outside groaning and pressing the building, you do not go check. I know the curiosity urge. Ignore it. Let them be outside. Food reality inside Costco. You can eat well, but you can still mess it up. Costco, food can carry you for a while, especially if you're alone or in a small group, but people ruin this by acting like it's endless and treating stress eating as a solution. If you're alone, you still ration, not because you're starving, because rationing is control, and control keeps you from doing dumb stuff when you're tired. If you're with a group, rationing is non-negotiable. Not strict military vibes, just structure. Otherwise, the loudest person eats the most, and then you get fights, and fights are loud, and loud gets you killed. Early on, I'm prioritizing food that doesn't require cooking, protein bars, nuts, shelf-stable stuff, canned foods that don't need prep, and things that don't make me thirsty. Cooking inside a warehouse is a smell signal, smoke travels, and even if you're careful, one mistake becomes a fire problem, and a warehouse fire is game over. Water, the make or break problem nobody wants to talk about. Water is the real limit, not food, not weapons. Water. If city water is still running, the smartest move is filling containers early, quietly, and in bulk. Don't wait. Don't assume it'll still run tomorrow. Grab clean bins, bottles, coolers, anything with a lid. Fill them, label them if you can. Keep them in your core zone. If water stops, you need a backup plan. Some buildings have stored water in heaters or plumbing lines, but you can't rely on it. Rooftop access, rain capture, filters, these become the long game. But I'm not going to sell this as easy. Rain is not guaranteed, and if you go outside to collect water later, that's risk. This is why Costco is best as a staging base. You use the bottled water and whatever stored water you can safely gather, stabilize yourself, then plan your move while you still have hydration buffer. Defense, what actually works in Costco without turning it into a war zone. Let me say this clean. You are not clearing Costco. That's a movie idea. Costco is a massive maze of shelving, corners, and long lanes. You don't need to clear it. You need to control your zone and keep the rest as buffer space. Defense is movement control. Funnels, barriers, quiet rules, watching, protective gear is underrated. Work gloves, thick jackets, hard hats, safety glasses. People joke about it until teeth hit fabric and don't get a clean bite. Nothing is perfect, but you're stacking odds. That's the real game. Also, avoid loud hero weapons. Chainsaws are not a plan. They're a noise machine with injury risk. Fire inside is not a plan. It's a last mistake. If you must engage zombies, you do it with distance and control, not with reckless swinging and screaming. But the better plan is avoiding engagement in the first place. Every fight risks injury, blood exposure, and noise. The human threat, the part that makes Costco hard. This is the part I'm not going to sugarcoat. Costco will draw people, even if you hide, even if the parking lot is dangerous. People will come because supply stores become landmarks in a collapse. Some people will be normal and scared and trying to survive. Some people will be predators. Most people will be a mix depending on hunger and fear. So the stance I take is calm, distant, and controlled. I'm not trying to be friends with everyone. I'm also not trying to be the villain. I'll communicate. I'll trade small. I'll keep distance. I will not reveal my core zone. If someone tries to force their way into my space, I treat it as a crisis, not an argument. No yelling, no emotional speeches, barriers up, distance kept, clear message, occupied, move on. If it escalates, you're already in the worst scenario. That's why you build layers early, so the first contact doesn't become a fight at arm's length. Long-term living. Costco can keep you alive, but it can also trap you. This is the part where I'm going to say something that annoys people. Staying in Costco long-term is usually a mistake. It feels safe because it's big and stocked, but big is also hard to secure. Big has too many access points. Big creates noise. Big becomes a target, and if a serious group decides they want what you have, defending a giant warehouse is a nightmare. They start making dumb choices just to feel something different. They wander, they argue, they take risks. So my long-term plan uses Costco for what it's best at, stabilizing and gearing up. Then I leave before I'm forced out. If I had to rate it honestly, I'd say short-term survival in Costco is strong if you keep it quiet and control a core zone. Long-term, it drops hard because humans notice you and the building is not designed for defense. If you want the simplest version of my whole stance, it's this. I'd get away from the entrance, lock down a small zone, keep light low, fill water early, ration quietly, and treat other people as the biggest variable. I would not try to own the whole building. I would not turn it into a noisy camp, and I would not stay so long that I become the obvious target. And I'd leave while I still have options, not when I'm desperate. There is no perfect place. There are only places that solve one problem and create two new ones. Costco solves supplies. Costco solves some comfort. It gives you a huge head start on the boring stuff that keeps you alive. But Costco also puts you on a map. It's a magnet, and magnets don't get to choose what shows up. If you're watching this thinking, I'd live in Costco forever, I'm not judging you. That's the instinct talking. Safety, walls, food, familiar place. I get it. But the longer you stay in a spot everyone thinks of first, the higher the chance you meet the kind of people who don't want to trade. So my best answer is this. Costco is a great first move, a great recovery spot, and a great place to build your next plan. It's not a forever home. Also, I want to hear from you. When everything goes bad inside a place like that, what's your first move? Everybody thinks differently, and the comments are always full of ideas I didn't even consider. And if you enjoy these realistic survival breakdowns, make sure you subscribe and stick around. I've got a lot more locations coming, and some of the best episodes start with your suggestions.